Dave Pasquale, he knows the Steelers. That's why he's sticking around. Gino DeMarco is football head coach at Geneva College. Let's talk Pro Bowl selections. 8 for the Steelers. Chris Boswell, Antonio Brown, Ben Roethlisberger, David DeCastro, Marquise Pouncey, Ryan Shazier, Alejandro Villanueva, and Le'Veon Bell, who was the overall leading vote getter among fans selected to his 3rd Pro Bowl. This year, very impressive. 1,222 yards on 307 carries, 8 touchdowns, and catching the ball out of the backfield. Next year, if he sticks around and they franchise tag him again, go from $12 million a year to $14 million. So let's begin by talking him and how important. As they say, the running back may not be as important as it once was in the league. I think there's a big argument because of what he's doing. If I'm the Steelers, I try to get him nailed down to a contract as opposed to year after year having to back up the Brinks truck. Gino.
I think this is the first year that he's shown that he can stay healthy every game and produce at a real high level. Real interesting what transpired in the last part of that game against the Patriots. You got the best running back in the league. You got 3 of the best offensive linemen in the league. They had been running a play where they were blocking down and using their guard, DeCastro, to kick out the corner. I thought that would have been a great first down call. You get a first down, game's over.
All right, let's just kind of go back a little bit in that 27-24 loss to New England. Then we're going to focus on this week's game. They're taking on Houston at NRG Stadium, and of course that'll be on NBC. There will be no Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show this week because of the Feast of the Seven Fishes broadcast. We'll be back the following week, New Year's Eve. Yours truly and the crew from Rivers Casino prior to the final regular season game at home against Cleveland. Tom Brady clutch, 298 yards and a touchdown, shooting for their record 9th straight AFC East title. That's incredible to think of that stat. Home field advantage still on the table, but he said it last week. Gronk was the key, as in Gronkowski, the young man who played 1 year of football his senior season at Woodland Hills. He had 9 catches for 168 yards. So you were right, and then we'll get Dave's thoughts on Gronkowski and why he is the difference maker for this team.
Well, I mean, everyone thought that they were going to come out and do exactly what they did and play zone. They didn't. They changed up and played man. And I thought they had a really good defensive game plan. What killed them was the second half, and he's not getting any help on top. Let's face it, he made 1 catch as a 6'7" tight end, probably the most athletic tight end ever playing in the NFL. And the quarterback's not too shabby. Put it right there, okay? The only thing that everybody wants to know is on the 2-point play, he lines up out there on a shorter corner. I told you, Rob, last week he's a mismatch. He's a genetic freak. And he's one of the best players to ever play that position.
All right, Gronkowski, difference maker. He is what everybody would like to be, meaning have in their lineup, the prototype, I believe, of today's NFL compared to some of the ones who we watched growing up, like Mike Ditka and others. So go ahead.
Gronkowski's a stud. That's all I can say about him. You watch him, and they put a guy like Sean Davis on him, and it was just a complete mismatch. I mean, this guy had how many catches, Gene? Nine for the game.
Oh, yeah.
160-some yards, and they just couldn't stop him. And in my opinion, between he and Brady, difference makers. I mean, it was just, you can't, that secondary the Steelers have, they just could not stop and protect against Gronkowski. Amendola was kind of a non-figure, I think. He didn't do much. It was Gronkowski and Brady that made the difference. And if they play him again, I would think that that'd probably be the same story.
All right, let's talk about the big play, big moment. 28 seconds to go. Ben connects with Jesse James on a 10-yard touchdown pass. The play was overturned with the official, Tony Correnti, explaining because the ball shifted as James twisted his way into the end zone, saying it didn't survive the ground, and there it was not a catch.
Horrible rule. Just still don't know what a catch is in the NFL. Didn't lose the game on that play. Didn't lose the game on the next play. Still don't understand why the quarterback threw the ball in the 4 shirts.
Yeah.
David?
It was a good call by the referee. It was a great call. I mean, according to the rule, that play should have been called as it was. The only thing is, I agree with Gene 100%. Terrible rule. Got to be changed. And I think during the course of the offseason, they probably will change that rule.
Oh, listen, these guys are about football, but I like a little business and fine wine and good spirits. So the Steelers' home field advantage, what's it mean? About $20 million a game coming into the great city of Pittsburgh. You've got New England, of course, this week taking on the Buffalo Bills. Pretty good football team. Lashady McCoy in the backfield doing some great things for them. He, of course, from the University of Pittsburgh. Then they've got Miami, who already handed them their lunch not too long ago. And I think Jay Cutler, once he settles in, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, I think he's going to be Miami's full-time quarterback, and I think they're going to convince him to stay for the next couple of years at South Beach. The Steelers, of course, take on the Cleveland Browns, who haven't won anything the final game of the regular season, and that would be just the time for them to win a game. So I think you got to go full throttle, do everything that you can do to keep the ball in your backyard, meaning Heinz Field, moving into the postseason, because you don't want to give New England a chance to play at Gillette Stadium. They're tough anywhere, but especially there. They too 11-3, and as I said, they've got the Bills this week, Miami. Steelers have Houston and Cleveland. Let's talk about Houston. Deshaun Watson, the kid out of Clemson, looked really good. He's done out with a knee injury. Already had 19 touchdown passes when his season ended. Now, you have got Tommy Savage out of the University of Pittsburgh, who was in there, but he got his bell rung, concussion. He's out. And then this kid, TJ Yates, who slept in the parking lot just to see if he was going to get a paycheck. He stuck around, gets his first starts in 2015. And I mean, let's face it, folks, he's not the second coming of Johnny Unitas. So the poor kid had to do everything that he could do just to stay in there for 60 minutes of football. They got throttled by Jacksonville. And Jacksonville, by the way, 25-year-old Blake Bortles having a great season. But I want to talk about the Steelers and their approach as they take on Houston. One of the big weapons, DeAndre Hopkins, 1,313 yards, 92 catches and 12 touchdowns. So the Steelers, this is one of those games that I know a lot of people are saying, well, you got the Division I, you're going in, you got to win this thing. I mean, you got to do everything that you can to get home field advantage, Gino.
Well, at some point, you got to quit thinking about what happened last Sunday night.
Exactly.
And you got to quit thinking about if we're going to have an opportunity to play those guys again. And these guys are professional players. I think one of the things that was amazing is when you looked at the response and Tomlin's response on that throw, and the camera went right to him. All he said was, "No, like don't do it." I mean, if you'd have saw my response, I'd have been running out of the field trying to find the quarterback. But these guys understand that they have to stay focused and take care of the business at hand, because in the NFL, anybody can beat you. If they go down to Houston and still worrying about looking at their wounds from last week and thinking about, the future, they're going to get beat. I mean, it's just that simple.
Dave, how important home field advantage postseason?
I don't think it's that important. I think good teams can win away from home, and they usually do. If I were a coach, I would love to have home field advantage, of course, but I don't think it matters all that much in the playoffs conditions.
Do you think the Steelers, is there anything such as a loss that you learn something from to the point that could actually give you the impetus to do great things the next time you get together? Do you think the Steelers prove something themselves? They can at least go head to head, even though they lost, that maybe that'll actually help them if they get a chance to take on New England again?
Listen, the word's out on the end. Okay, here's the blueprint. You got to get inside pressure, and don't bring it. It's not coming from the outside, because that's seen so easily by the quarterback. I told you, Brady's this. He's on rhythm. 1, 2, 3, get the ball off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, get the ball off downfield. They bring inside pressure. All right, that collapses the pocket, and you're playing man to man. The one thing you didn't see Sunday night was receivers running free through the middle of the secondary. Mm-hmm. So I think what Miami did the week before, what Pittsburgh emulated, I still want to ask the question, where is the free safety? Because the free safety has to be there. You can't just let Sean Davis, just let him hang out there.
I agree.
Where's the free
Closing
safety?
comments, Dave Pasquale.
Well, in all honesty, and I could be dead wrong about this, but I don't think the AFC is that good. I don't think Pittsburgh and New England are the strength of the NFL. I think the NFC probably has better teams this year, and I think probably in the end result. I look at Los Angeles Rams and like with Jared Goff and Gurley and these guys. These guys they're quality football teams. And there's other ones too. I think even the Saints with Drew Brees, he continues to amaze me. You know, week after week. I mean, you lose one, come back the next week, and beat a tougher team. But basically, I think the AFC is a little weak this year, including New England and Pittsburgh.
Dave Pasquale, Gino DeMarco, Rob Pratte, on behalf of the Papa family and everyone working the late shift here at the Brighton Hot Dog Shop in Beaver and throughout the tri-state, to you and your family, hey, stop by and see us over the holidays, and Merry Christmas and a very happy and blessed New Year. Good night.